The first time I heard a grown woman cry, it was the most chilling sound I had ever heard. It was the sound of hopelessness. As a person, I rarely cry. As a grown woman, I can remember every time I ever cried. But I can never forget when I started wailing every other day. Let me start from the beginning. What a broken heart feels like. Can one capture the essence of this state? Let me try. I've been heartbroken before. You should know this. So this is definitely not my first rodeo. But this time is different. This experience is more mature and serious than the last. Not just because the relationship lasted longer and more lives are involved, but because it blindsided me. I never saw it coming. This heartbreak hit me like the time I had a head-on jogging collision with a 6-foot muscle mass of a man one morning at Bata. It took his holding me and several minutes sitting down to get my bearings right again. Even then, I couldn't jog back home. I recall nights when I lay on the couch in the sitting room in a bid to get far away from him. I had already given up on my fight with insomnia. Tears would be streaming down my eyes, and my world was dissolving faster than I could comprehend. After nights like this, I would wake up late in the morning, my arms numb, and my legs would take several minutes to come alive. I was scared of dying like this, and I could have died like this. Many times I caught myself standing in the middle of a room. It could be the kitchen or the bedroom, wondering how I got there and why I was there. It took the grace of God and imagining my children as motherless to pull me out of these days. There were days when the reality of having my children grow up fatherless would hit me like a punch to the gut, and I would find myself sitting on the floor, wailing. Yes, wailing, not crying. And that's for want of a better description for the kind of cry that comes from a grown man who rarely cries. In fact, doesn't know how to cry, has the feeling of a brick weighing down her heart, and the sound one hears from a house in morning coming from her throat. Except she's not aware she's the one wailing until her head starts to feel like it will explode. A dirge is the closest description, but a dirge has rhythm. There's no rhythm here. The rhythm of her life is gone, so she wills more, without restraint. Then the attacks. Oh yes, the attacks. Not brought on by anything. Without cause, I would hear my heart loudly pumping blood through my veins with a hastened pace, like when I was in my third trimester. They said it was palpitations, but the tests all came back negative. Talking about tests, the last time I visited a hospital, I had symptoms of malaria, even though I had just finished a full dose of treatment meant to last 3 months. All the tests came back negative again. Then the doctor asked, "Have you been stressed lately?" He said the body has funny ways of manifesting stress. I know that now. What symptoms have I not had since this became my life? Balls in unusual places, and even my doctor was scared it could be HIV. There was the ulcer too, without the suspected H. pylori. They also suspected abdominal perforation and ordered an endoscopy, but I was already tired of all the probing. There were singular moments, like the time I was sitting in a moving car, obviously resting. I wasn't even driving. But for 10 minutes, my smartwatch recorded an extremely high heart rate. I felt that warning. My mom was watching me, scared that I was hiding my pains, which meant that anything could happen. She told me of how I mumbled words in my sleep. Sometimes in my dreams, I would hear someone screaming in my skull, till I wake suddenly and realize the someone was me. These episodes always had the accompanying feeling that someone was holding me down on the bed, and I was struggling to be free of them. They called this one sleep paralysis. The luck I had with this heartbreak is having children. The responsibility of being their sole caregiver spared me from spiraling deeper into the depths of despair. For this and more, I'm grateful to be called mother.